Hello everybody and welcome back to Kerbal's space program, where we are currently finishing up a burn to invert our orbit over Eve. And then we are going to insert this satellite into Gilly orbit. We're going to target a pretty big orbit of Gilly, I mean as big as you can get with that kind of crappy gravitational influence. But we're going to be doing this largely without MechJeb, so that should be exciting. I mean exciting-ish. I'm feeling ambitious today. Some days I feel lazy, some days I feel ambitious. Today, I don't want to use MechJeb for anything except for executing maneuvers. So let's go ahead and add a maneuver here. And let's right-click our ascending node to make sure that that stays up. And we are just going to burn about like this. Not quite that much, though. Come on down. Oh, that was too much. Right about here is good. I like that. So we're going to go ahead and execute that. That'll be, in a while. We're going to go ahead and physics warp on up for that. As we slowly rotate our way over towards that burn. Right about now. Warp up to kill our rotation, and now MechJeb will take over as it executes that node. It's only going to take 33.1 meters per second to match this inclination, which is kind of surprising. And we are now going in the same direction as Gilly, which always helps. So match planes with target, and then we are going to be doing a Hohmann transfer, which is always a little bit exciting. Although Gilly is currently right here, which is a little bit awkward. And we're also extremely highly elliptical. So one thing we may wish to do is over here, try to match the Gilly orbit a little more closely so that we can better do a Hohmann transfer. It's not going to take too much delta V. It won't be a problem. There we go. So we're going to go ahead and do a retrograde burn right here, if I can grab it. Apparently I can't from that angle. Retrograde burn right here. And we're going to look for something kind of along the lines of this. Although we want to match this a little bit better. Kind of along the lines of that. 142 meters per second. It's no big deal. We still have 7,500 in the tank, so let's go ahead and throttle this guy up. And by throttle, as usual, I mean physics warp. We're over Eve's Explodium C. That's interesting. I've never really done too much with Eve. I've landed a rover on it once, although it didn't go so well. Like, I entered the atmosphere way too quickly, and I had a solid 10-meter heat shield on there that I was using as a quasi-parachute, but it did not slow down fast enough, and that thing went bouncing like you wouldn't believe. We're not going to be doing that. We're just going to send our standard probe. We are probably going to send a big ol' heat shield along with it, and some parachutes, but it'll be kind of exciting. Okay, so we need to go ahead and physics warp on up here as we match the Gilly orbit a little bit more closely. There we go. And now we're going to be a little bit safer to just kind of move where we do our Hohmann transfer like we did before. So I'm going to go ahead and set our focus on Gilly like that. And I have no idea where we're going to be intersecting this thing. But let's go ahead and add a retrograde maneuver so that we have a pretty significant orbital intersection here. And yeah, target position at closest approach, and our closest approach would be right here. So we need to... Well, that's a little awkward, isn't it? Gilly is moving in an awkward manner. We'll put it that way. Let's see. That actually has potential. Look at that. There's an intersect. Is it a decent one? It's pretty close. I want this thing... Oh, wow. Yeah, you can't get very far from Gilly at all. Oh, boy. Okay. Where are we? Let's just do it this way. Let's redo this, shall we? Retrograde to right about here. And it looks like 70 kilometers is about the furthest we can get. Oh, actually, 100 kilometers. Okay, we'll do it. Execute next node. Only 70 meters per second to intercept Gilly here. That's actually really solid. And only in 5 days. I'm pretty proud of that node. Of course, we're going to be going all the way around here and intercepting it over here. So that's going to be, you know, awkward. But let's go ahead and physics warp on up. Excellent. And here we go. Node in T-minus 5 days. And then we're going to just circularize once we get there. And, I mean, we're going to pretty much call it a day. This inclination will be fine. I'm not concerned about it. We basically just want something around this lumpy piece of rock. That's the goal. Okay. So we are 1 hour away from this burn. Now we're 2 minutes away from this burn. And now this burn will be executed in 7 seconds. Or not. Apparently the estimated burn was incorrect, but MechJeb had it calculated properly. Good job, MechJeb. You did something right for a change. Okay, so let's just check our final orbit here. Tiny amounts of delta V will do huge amounts of changing to this orbit. So we definitely do not want to use RCS right now. Looks like MechJeb nailed it. Fantastic. So at this periapsis, we're going to go ahead and burn retrograde a lot to slow down. Although maybe not that much. Okay, there we go. Now we just need to adjust this until this is at about the same 100 kilometers thereabouts. I'd like to push it out a little further if possible. Yeah, I like it. Very, very minor eccentricity there. The inclination is fine. In fact, I think it's better to be slightly tilted. So we'll go ahead and do this. This is only 130 meters per second. We are not using RCS. That will definitely push us out of this orbit. Gilly is so touchy because its gravity is ridiculously weak. So we're just going to go ahead and come on over here using our reaction wheel very, very slowly, but luckily we have physics warp. There we go. Physics warp down, and we're going to be killing our rotation right now. Okay, MechJeb took over. And let's do this. Node in 2, 1, 5 hours, 1 hour. Here we are. We're only in the sphere of influence of Gilly for about 10 minutes here. So we have a pretty narrow window, but it's 130 meters per second. It'll be a 40-second burn, according to this, which is usually inaccurate. About a 42-second burn, looks like. Excellent. Okay, so there's Gilly. We actually see it now. It's just a lumpy piece of misshapen rock, and it is glorious. I don't think we're going to bother with the polar orbit, although maybe. I mean, it won't take much delta V. I don't think it really makes a difference, though. Like, at all. There we go. And we are in our proper orbit. Let's see here. Eccentricity of 0.00372. Good enough. Excellent. And Gilly is so small that it will only occlude this satellite for a very, very brief amount of time in this orbit. Like 95% of the time in this orbit, it will not be occluded. So that'll be fantastic. So we're going to go ahead and grab our science from here that we can. Where is our thermometer? Well, we can grab our mystery goo. Go ahead and transmit this. 18.1 science for that. Excellent. And then... No. Don't throttle up. What did we just do? Oh, boy. Well, that was my bad. We're going to go ahead and physics warp up until we get to retrograde, because we need to burn retrograde right now. Because I hit the wrong button. Like an idiot. I hit Z instead of M. How do you even do that? Like, how is that possible? Oh boy. Okay. There we go. We're going to just do tiny amounts of thrust. Tiny amounts of thrust. There. Good enough. Our eccentricity is a little higher, but actually being in a slightly higher orbit is actually better. So it's kind of a good thing that that happened. Kind of. Now we need a temperature scan on this thing. Where is the thermometer? If I recall correctly, the thermometer is on... Where exactly is it? Is it on this side? No, that's where the KER is. Actually, No! Oh man, I'm an idiot. I need to just, like, disable the engine. Apparently. While I'm looking for this thermometer. Okay, let's physics warp on over back to prograde, because I want to fix that. I don't want to be at a periapsis of 77 kilometers. I liked that 110 mark. That was a good mark. So let's just go ahead and burn prograde ever so slightly until we get back up to that 110 mark. 100. 111. Good enough. Okay. Shut down engine. There. Now, even if I accidentally throttle up, it's not going anywhere. Excellent. Okay, now where is that thermometer? Are you here? I can't really see very well. Well, let's just switch it to kill rot. Physics warp on up. And we're just going to rotate this guy like so that I can actually see a little bit better. And now we're going to do actual time warp to kill that rotation. Excellent. So the thermometer's not on that side for sure. Can't really see over here. Here it is. I gotcha. Or not. The autosave jumped the camera around, but I got him. Log temperature. Transmit science. Excellent. Okay. Now, let's go back to the Space Center before I mess something else up. Oh, man. Why am I so bad at this game? Why am I so bad at this game? Okay, what do we got? Science data from surface of Eve. We're going to do that eventually. We'll go ahead and grab that. Now, Everything else here is kind of, well, a satellite in a specific orbit of Ike. We'll do that eventually. Not immediately, but eventually. We could upgrade our VAB, but we don't really have a need to right now. Yeah, we don't really have a need to. We entered into suborbital spaceflight above Eve, initiated the first flyby of Gilly, escaped the gravitational influence of Eve, entered orbit of Gilly, entered into suborbital spaceflight above Gilly, and gathered the first scientific data from Gilly, and we got a bunch of money for doing it. Okay, what can we get in R&D? I mean, not a lot is the answer. We could grab air brakes. We don't need air brakes. We don't really need anything in this tier, unless it's to move on to something that we need in the next tier, which I don't think there is anything that we need, because both of these are dead ends, and these just lead to advances in aviation, which we're not actually interested in at this time. So I think we just go ahead and we are going to want to take scanning tech eventually, but we can't currently. Same with high power electrics, so let's just save our science for now. And we're going to do basically that same mission again, except over Eve instead of over Gilly. So we're just going to go ahead and relaunch this guy. It's going to be awkward and waggling about again, I bet, since that's apparently what MechJeb likes to do. It's kind of weird. Let's turn off corrective steering and see what that does. Okay, engage autopilot. Well, let's do this. I mean, these are all mainsails, so we should have plenty of gimbaling. I don't know why MechJeb was doing that. It shouldn't be having difficulties holding attitude. But let's see how exactly it works, shall we? And then once we've put this in orbit over Eve, then our next mission, assuming we don't get a contract that is kind of necessary, our next mission, I suspect, is going to be landing on Gilly. And then we have to decide who we want to bring, and do we want to redesign our lander to have multiple people in it? And the answer, I think, is yes. I mean, it's still doing the waggling. And the waggling is still getting worse and worse as we go on. I don't get it. What are you doing, MechJeb? Do we have too much control? Maybe. I'll turn corrective steering back on. It's possible that we have too much control and we need to drop these tail fins. Who knows? Anyway, we're about to detach our side boosters here in 2 seconds. There they go. Don't kill anything. Okay. All we lost was 2 tail fins. We're fine. See, that's another reason to remove those tail fins. Maybe we do want to remove the tail fins. I don't know. It's worth a go, I think. I definitely think it's worth a go. Well, our apoapsis is just about in space. There we go. Apoapsis is now in space, so that is great. Okay. We are just about at 50 kilometers. I'll deploy our fairing manually at 50 kilometers. There we go. Get out of here, fairing. We don't need that dead weight. Eve is somewhere in this vicinity. I can tell you that for sure. Okay, and here we go with our spin. So there's that. That's going to be exciting, as it usually is. But we're in space now. Okay. Kill that spin. Turn on RCS. We need to get over to our maneuver node so that we can actually get into orbit. Orbit's help. Okay, gonna go ahead and turn off RCS because that's raising our apoapsis, which isn't really what I want to do. I just wanted to get turned here. There we go. And gonna kill our rotation right now. Excellent. Fantastic. And we're gonna be burning here momentarily. Wait, it only took out one? I thought we lost 2 tail fins. Oh, okay. I guess we only lost the 1 tail fin. Not like it matters. Mechjub, are you planning on doing the circularization burn? There you go. Sometimes it really doesn't like how slow my rockets can turn. Whereas me, I would have fired up there and been like, the gimbaling will correct it. But it's fine. We are now officially in orbit. And I didn't get a coughing fit this time, so that's excellent. Although, maybe I spoke too soon. We're going to burn at the periapsis, though. And we are just going to get on out of here. We are not interested in hanging around the Kerbal system. We don't want to live on this planet anymore. So instead, we're going to go live around Eve. If you can call orbiting as a satellite living. We can get rid of Ascent Guidance. And Maneuver Planner. Go ahead and execute that node. Excellent. We have 7 minutes to get there. Gonna go ahead and warp up and turn on RCS because this is not going anywhere fast. There we go. Warp down because we're missing the node a little bit. Right about now. There we go. And now we'll correct it a little bit. Come on, RCS. You can get us there. There we go. And now we'll kill rotation again. Fantastic. And we're going to need to turn on RCS once more to get into the correct position so that the engines will fire. There we go. RCS off. And off we go. Should have no real problem with this burn whatsoever. Eventually we're going to retrofit these to be ion propulsed rather than liquid fuel. Although we could switch them over to nuclear. It is an option. But I think for now, having them be liquid fuel is fine. I don't think that's really a big concern. Okay, off we go. And here we are once more. 412 days to there. I'm not sure exactly where our escape point is on this orbit, but we're going to go ahead and warp a little bit closer to it. Excellent. Goodbye, everybody. We're off. While we're warping, may as well go ahead and set target to be Eve. We're not going to focus view on it quite yet, though. We have another week in this warp. That won't be too bad. Unfortunately, we can't go to 10,000 time. There we go. Okay, auto time warp canceled. Are we currently on our solar trajectory? Yes, we are. Okay. Well, our descending node isn't for a while. So there's that. But we are going to go ahead and turn on our descending node view, and then at the descending node, we're going to go ahead and just match planes with the target. It won't take too much. There. 344.6 meters per second. We can actually do that with this. So we'll go ahead and do that. That'll take quite a while to get there. Now I'm going to go ahead and not burn RCS for that. However, it's going to take a very long time to get in position. So I'm going to put a cut in here, and next episode, we will finish our orbital insertion of this satellite into Eve orbit. See you all then.